The Marietta High School Gymnasium is once again home to the Georgia High School Association State Volleyball Championships, and it's the 4A match in Class 4A between the Sandy Creek Fighting Patriots and the Columbus Blue Devils. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Drever along with Phil Bush, and as usual we're looking forward to a great match. The two best teams in the class wouldn't be here if it wasn't the state championships, and in this particular one we have two teams that know each other very, very well, and they're both very good at what they do.
Yes, they really are, and they played 3 times this year already, Brian, with Sandy Creek thus far coming out on top, but they were very close, tight matches, so I think we're going to be in for another very much a tight match. And a lot of it's going to come down, I think, to who has a better serve and serve receive today, because other parts of their arsenal are all pretty much even.
Well, with that having been said, though, even though they've played each other 3 times, wipe the slate clean. It's the state championship match. So let's talk about Sandy Creek. Are they indeed favored?
Well, I think they would be, just because they won the matches this year. I'm not sure that Paul Collins would admit to being favored. He's got a great hitter. He's got a number of great hitters, but one in particular we'll keep a close eye on is Allie Davenport, who I think can really deliver for him when he needs it.
But Columbus, on the other hand, they bring a big winning record to this one, and of course the enthusiasm that a state championship brings, one of their few appearances, if any.
Yes, and I think what you'll see here, a very big hitting team. Brianna Goggins is one of their big hitters. She's a verbal commit to go to Auburn to play, and if you're going to play in the SEC, that means you're a pretty darn good volleyball player. But they've got a lot of very good weapons. It's just going to be a question of who can settle into their rhythm and their offense the quickest.
So we are looking forward to the 4A championship title match here at Marietta High School. That's coming right at you. We always time that perfectly. Moulton, USA is proud to be the official volleyball of the Georgia High School Association. And Mizuno is the presenting sponsor of the Georgia High School Association Volleyball State Championship. Mizuno, never settle. Well, here we are looking down upon the court at Marietta High School and getting set to play as the Sandy Creek team in white and Columbus in blue getting set to go. The Blue Devils in blue.
It seems only fitting.
Yes, it did. Yes, it does indeed. Now, there will be one player dressed a little differently on each team when that player comes in to substitute, known as a libero, a defensive specialist that rotates in. So you will see that number 14 on the Sandy Creek side, and that is Annie Fitzgerald. She is the libero player for the Sandy Creek Fighting Patriots. A sort of a situational substitute.
But it's continual.
Yes, it is. They come in and out pretty much, well, in a liberal fashion.
Well, they come in and out typically. They come in and out for another player typically both middles when they come to the back row are taking the places taken by the libero.
On the Columbus Blue Devils side is number 3, Michaela Swinson, a senior. We're getting ready for the first serve. This is a best-of-5 match, meaning the team that wins 3 games, the first team to win 3 games, will be the state 4A champions. The game is played to 25 points. It is rally scoring, which means every time the ball hits the floor or goes out of bounds, someone scores a point. In this case, it is the Sandy Creek Patriots. So they not only win the point, but the serve. And Sandy Creek's Alexis Broadwater, a freshman setter, will serve. She trickles that one over the net, makes it 2-0.
Well, you usually get about one of those per match if you're lucky, and if you get one on your first serve for the whole match, that's a pretty good sign, I gotta say.
That means go buy a lottery ticket, and the next one goes right into the net. So the point and the serve now goes back to the Blue Devils. Running back to take the ball will be number 10, Natalie Twyford. She's a junior outside hitter. Twyford's first serve well delivered.
Tough serve.
And hit by Sandy Creek. So Sandy Creek jumps up to a 3-1 lead. And Alicia Ervis
put that ball away, and now she will serve. But the right side hitter for Sandy Creek started things out on the right fashion.
Now that serve is not her reward, but it does seem like on quite a few occasions, a player with an outstanding move seems to end up in the serving rotation at that point. Nicely set. Here comes the left side hit. It's down.
And we talked about Allie Davenport in our open, and you just saw an example of what she can do. Number 9 for Sandy Creek is a player to be reckoned with on the floor.
Well, she's just shown us their most recent example of why, as Alicia Ervis serves it up again.
Not passed well by Columbus, and a free ball back to the Fighting Patriots.
Oh, going to get a net call.
That's a back row attack violation on Sandy Creek because the setter was in the back row in that situation, and when you're in the back row, as soon as the blocker makes contact with you, you're considered to be an offensive player, and the ball goes back over to the team.
Columbus serving and trailing by 2. Sandy Creek goes over in 2 hits that time, and a little dump shot almost worked. They still keep it in play. Now we get a whistle on the play.
Net violation on Sandy Creek.
Yep, under the net. I thought that's what the previous call was, but you got it right.
And so the Blue Devils
fight back to trail by 1.
Yes.
On a referee's call. Another tough serve. Up, and another whistle.
Double hit called that time on Sandy Creek.
And we're tied at 4. Columbus, number 8, Brianna Gogans, doing the serving back there. She's a middle hitter blocker. Early game jitters here over the outstretched hands of Sandy Creek's number 10, Tori Sellers. Columbus takes their first lead of the game and the match.
You got to believe these two teams aren't going to be intimidated by each other because they know each other so well, and they played at least 3 times this year. But it will be interesting to see who gets on their service game and their serve-receive game quickly. And so far, it really has been the Blue Devils.
Well, they keep that one in play. Nope. Another whistle. Got a lift.
Lift call that time.
Sandy Creek's number 9, Allie Davenport. Their star, arguably their star player, comes back to serve.
And she's going to be taking her volleyball career to UTC Chattanooga.
Bang. That was Sandy Creek Sydney Wilson.
And that was a put away.
Up 6-5.
I shouldn't have said UTC Chattanooga. I should have said UT Chattanooga.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that I said that the proper way.
Jump serve by Davenport. A little dump shot, and Tori Sellers couldn't get to it.
It's a well-placed shot by the Blue Devils.
From the left side of their attack. I believe that was Maya Hendrick. I'm sorry, was Lee Ellen McCormick, who just left the court. Not sure. Hidden behind the pad next to the net there, below the referee. Anyway, the ball's back in play. New point, tied at 6. They're going to get the touch on that one. And Sandy Creek's Tori Sellers couldn't reach the one before it. This time she sends it out of the reach of the Columbus Blue Devils.
Good rally by that time, particularly by Sandy Creek, with keeping that ball alive with some good defensive plays.
Tamara Dorsey, junior outside hitter, serving. Big hit, and it goes wide. Right at the feet of the server, Dorsey. She wisely didn't reach for it.
Yes, that's exactly right, Brian.
Or it went by so quick she couldn't reach for it.
Either way.
It's a point for Sandy Creek. But then she serves one out of bounds and gives the point and the serve back to the Columbus Blue Devils.
Neither team passing extremely well so far.
Well, they're trying to find their rhythm. Big block. Yeah. Big block by the Blue Devils.
But it ended up over on the Sandy Creek side. So Sellers was able to get that put away. But again, not a great pass to start the rally off with.
Well, we're looking forward to better volleyball once the jitters subside. These girls have waited a long time. The tournament started at 11 o'clock this morning. Their game not until 7 p.m. And so they've waited a long time to get this one underway.
Hopefully they slept in and then got a good workout in this afternoon.
Sandy Creek up 9-8. The favored team, if you will, over Columbus, having played 3 times previously, and Sandy Creek winning all 3 during the regular season. But there seems to be a way during the state championships to kind of wipe that slate clean. And early season games don't seem to mean near as much as those later in the year. Big hit played well on the other side.
It's a great rally by both sides, but eventually.
Yep.
The put away.
Yep, 10-8. Sandy Creek.
And that was principally done by Sellers and Alicia Herves that time.
Here's Sellers to serve. Davenport. Into the grandstand. No play. Off the hands of number 9, Madison Fleming.
This is my first look at Allie Davenport, but she has got a cannon for an arm.
Here it comes again. And there it goes again. Same victim. Timeout. Columbus. As Madison Fleming victimized by Allie Davenport 2 in a row. So timeout Columbus. They're down by 4 in this opening game of a best-of-5 match.
It's probably a good timeout for Donna Fleming to get her team settled down a little bit and to remind them of where they're working on from a defensive perspective, because basically the focus is containing Allie Davenport and to serve a little tougher to get them out of system. Now, early on, the Blue Devils have been serving pretty well, so that's worked out pretty good. And they're gonna. But she also will probably talk to them about getting their block in place a little bit earlier, because we know when Allie Davenport goes up, we got to have 2 blockers in front of her at all times.
Well, you may have noticed that Columbus is without the service of junior Michelle Vitral, an outside hitter. She's on crutches with an injury over there, supporting her teammates from the sidelines. Fleming serves up a winner, and they go up 13-8. Floats one long. Columbus with the ball and the point.
And the Blue Devil.
Yeah, there's your Blue Devil. They're here in some numbers with their mascot, all the way from Columbus, Georgia. It's a pretty good trip on a Saturday evening for the students of Columbus High School. Fleming. Oh, somehow Davenport keeps that one in play, and their libero, Annie Fitzgerald, carries it over.
Kept alive by both sides with just hustling defensive plays.
Now, long rallies have been kind of the order of the day here in all of our championship matches. In fact, to the point of running our third match quite late after a 5-set AA championship, which was epic. Then our 3A championship came back and nearly matched it, even though it was 3 straight. All 3 games were 2 points.
And those games could have gone either way, and this has easily been going 5 sets in that one.
No question about it.
Good serving run by Sellers, even though she missed that one. She's serving tough, and again, I can't emphasize enough that, yeah, you're going to miss some serves when you're going for a state championship because you've got to serve tough because you know your opposition. If you don't serve it tough, they're going to come hitting the ball back at you about 3 times as hard as you served.
So Columbus gets the ball back, trailing by 5, score 10, serving 15, and there's another one. Well, you get one of those per match.
Well, 1 per match per side.
Yep, there's one for Columbus, number 12, Kennedy Smith.
Yes, and Sandy Creek got theirs, I believe, early on in the set.
Tori Sellers on her first serve got one to fall. Here comes the set for Davenport, right through the touch.
And what she just showed is that she can hit anywhere on the court. She can hit left side, she can hit in the middle, and I'd be willing to bet there's a rotation coming up pretty soon where she'll hit on the right side.
Lee Ellen McCormick, the victim of that latest big hit. Alicia Ervis serving for Sandy Creek. Columbus tries a big hit of their own, but it's blocked. Here comes another one. Soft touch this time. They keep it in play on the Sandy Creek side and hit it into the net. Ervis, the server.
Yeah, tried to do a little bit too much with that one, did Alex Dade. She had a good idea to swing. It's not a bad idea to swing, just needed to swing a little higher and keep the ball in play.
Brianna Gogans will serve for Columbus. Davenport with a set.
And she's over on the right side now.
Yep. Kept in play through the block, but the backcourt players kept it in. Oh,
stuffed.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there between setter and hitter. And they both went up at the same time. That doesn't necessarily work. Alexis Broadwater, the setter.
And Chardonnay Hayes that time just basically was sitting there waiting for a ball to come over and did a good job of just shutting it down for the Blue Devils.
Comes another serve from Columbus. They're within 3. Big hit by Sandy Creek's number 5, Ervis. And Allie Davenport comes back to serve.
Big serve on top of big hits. So Davenport is showing you why she is kind of the featured player in this offense.
And she's forced another timeout on the Columbus Blue Devils bench.
Yes.
Coach Donna Fleming calling for a halt in the proceedings.
And that's her second and last timeout. So this is and again, you always talk about when you get close to point 20 is when the nerves start to go and you start to think, okay, I've got to find a way to slow this down because it doesn't feel very good right now.
Well, some big high fives coming out of the coaching staff of the Sandy Creek team. They're back on the court ready to play while Columbus still huddled up, trying to figure out what they can do to stem the tide of a 5-point deficit right now. Allie Davenport will continue to serve.
And Davenport getting ever so close to that number 20. And at point 20, everything changes in a rally score game.
She's leading 18-13 right now.
Tough serve.
Yep.
It's going to be a free ball back.
Columbus.
Oh.
A big hit once again. Sandy Creek, this time Sydney Wilson doing the honors.
Now their offense looks very, very much in sync and in check now.
Another tough serve by Davenport. Oh, they play it well, though.
Nice.
Up and over goes Chardonnay Hayes.
Nicely done.
She gets the net. Little help from the net on that one.
It somehow went over and somehow dropped in, and that's all that matters because Columbus needed that stop there to stop the run of Sandy Creek.
Another tough serve coming from Columbus this time. There's another big hit. It goes long.
Yeah, and sometimes the middle blockers have a tendency, the natural swing is across the body, left to right, and that was more of an inside-out swing from Sandy Creek, and it wasn't a bad idea, just try to put too much on it.
And another nice big hit, this time from the number 10, Tori Sellers. She earns the serve back for her team. And it's Tamara Dorsey with the ball. Oh, and it falls right in front of Dorsey for a Columbus point.
Ah, a little surprising there.
Yeah, indeed. Trailing 16-20, they have the serve.
And really, Columbus needs some kind of a run here in order to really turn this game around.
Now, they can't just keep counting on a side out. They can't trade points with Sandy Creek.
And Sandy Creek, when keeps firing when they have a chance to side out.
Yep.
They have sided out almost every single time.
Well, we're in the Phil Bush zone now, up by 5 with 4 to play for the game. And Fitzgerald comes in for Sandy Creek, their libero to serve. Annie Fitzgerald, junior defensive specialist and libero for this game. Up goes Sellers. And down goes Sellers.
That did not look good.
No, she fell hard. And we've got a timeout on the court. Official timeout.
I just hope she's okay.
Yeah.
She already has a very substantial knee brace on one knee, but it looked like she was favoring the other one when she went down. But the coaching staff and training staff out there with her. I just hope she's okay.
We'll take a short break with that pause on the court and come right back with more of Sandy Creek versus Columbus for the State 4A Volleyball Championship. We're back, and the good news is Tori Sellers rose to her feet with a little bit of help. They're going to take her maybe into one of the back rooms and work on her just a little bit more. We certainly hope to see the senior right side hitter, Tori Sellers, number 10, back in action for Sandy Creek. Coming in, it's Alexis Broadwater is going to come in and take her place. Number 1, a setter. So they're rearranging the lineup just a little bit. Coach Paul Collins working with his players to take up the slack.
And as often happens when you have a change in lineup, that time Sandy Creek called for being out of rotation. So now Paul Collins is going to go over and look at players, and team captain Allie Davenport up to talk about that.
So there's a very specific location and rotation these players have to follow. And when a substitution is made, sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle. But in any case, Sandy Creek is up 22-17, make it 23, as they were able to deliver yet another point. So they need 2 to win this first game. And it looks like trouble for Columbus here in game 1.
Madison Farr came in after the injury timeout.
No, you're right. Madison Farr was the substitute. Broadwater was already in.
Yes, Alexis Broadwater.
They have now gone up. We're at game point. 24-17, Sandy Creek.
And Alexis Broadwater just made a nice play that'll probably not go down in terms of anything that she does. But she made a turn from her right using her left hand and poked the ball over to score a point for her team when she could have set that ball, but she made a nice decision that time as a setter.
Oh, just out of the reach.
Never came.
Nope, it never came, but it was set but not hit successfully by Columbus number 8, Brianna Gogans. And that's game 1. Sandy Creek, the Fighting Patriots, have lived up to their reputation, having defeated Columbus 3 times during the regular season. They've now beaten them in game 1 here in the state championship.
Well, it's really going to be up to Columbus to answer here. They've got to basically do some different things from a passing perspective and to run a better, more diversified offense. Otherwise, keep throwing the ball back over to Sandy Creek without making them really work hard. What's going to happen is, the ball's not going to, it will come back at you even faster.
And for the Patriots, is it a case of it ain't broke, don't fix it? They're doing everything right. It seems like their play has been a little bit off. They've been a little off their game, and yet they end up with a win.
They ended up winning 25-17, so most coaches would be happy. Now, what is going to happen here is a different lineup because
of the injury.
The injury to Tori Sellers. So it'll be interesting to see what Paul Collins decides to do here in terms of tweaking his lineup to try to cover up that loss of Tori Sellers, because she's clearly a key part of the offensive part of his team.
Well, we don't know if she's lost forever, or at least for the night, because she did walk off under her own power, a little bit of help. So maybe she's able to just kind of walk it off out there. There's no serious damage. Of course, the interest of safety, they leave her laying on the floor. The trainers come over. They start to move that knee around a little bit. But if she gets up and walks it off, how many times have we done the same thing?
Absolutely. But, they have to. I think Paul Collins as a coach has to assume she won't be back, at least in this game. So he's got his lineup set now, and it includes Madison Farr pretty much taking her spot on the floor.
But if Sellers does return, that'll be a bonus for Coach Collins.
Absolutely.
Then he can go back to his original lineup and his original game plan. Now he's having to adjust.
Yes.
So Sandy Creek, they're on the court ready to play here. Game 2, having won the first one by a score of 25-17. Best of 5. First team to win 3 is Class 4A state champion.
Well, Allie Davenport, from what we've seen, everyone told me, said, keep your eye on number 9. And you know what? They were right on. She has got a very, very live arm and typically puts the ball in places that are awfully difficult to dig.
Columbus now returns to the court, knowing that they've got to try to even this score at 1 game apiece to have a reasonably good chance of going on and earning that state championship title.
Yep.
Defeating the team that beat them 3 times during the regular season.
It's very hard to come back from 2 games down in a 5-set match. It can be done.
Yes.
But it's so hard because you've got to fight. You've got to think about how high up the mountain you're willing to climb.
And again, we refer back to the excellent matches that we've had already here today.
Yes.
For the 2A championship, a 5-set match that was, as well, in Phil Bush's words, one of the 2 best I've ever done. The other being the '96 Olympic gold medal game. That's pretty fast company.
Well, what the similarities about it were that both the matches had featured times where both teams could have won each game. It was that way all the way through.
Yes, it was.
2
points, 2 points, 3 points, 2 points, and 2 points again, by my recollection.
The comebacks in set number 5 by both teams were absolutely epic.
Back and forth it went, unbelievable. And then we were treated to a 3A. It was a 3 and out for Blessed Trinity against St. Pius, but another one where either team could have won any game along the way. And made it a 5-set match in turn.
Absolutely.
We're ready for the first serve of game 2. And it will be Sandy Creek's Alexis Broadwater doing the honors.
This is a strong rotation for Sandy Creek starting out.
Well, they've got both Davenport and Alicia Irvis right up front where they want them. And just a quick point for Columbus, so they get the point and the ball. And number 9, Madison Fleming, will serve, leading 1-0 in game 2. So they're off to a quick start, if 1 point can be called a quick start. Davenport. And she went through the block. They kept it in play, but it ends up finding the floor just the same. Off of the libero, Michaela Swinson.
Great up by Michaela Swinson. Just almost kept it all the way alive.
Irvis for Sandy Creek serving. Alicia Irvis, the senior right side hitter. They're going to get a shot from the left side. Davenport with a nice little dump over the net. They were expecting the big hit. She gave them the soft touch instead. Ball still in play. Irvis with a nice set from the backcourt. Here comes Davenport with the big hit. It's off at least 2, if not 3 Columbus players, and goes out of bounds for a point.
It was well defended by Columbus. Just, you know, when you've got the variety of shots that Allie Davenport has, she can go hard, as you mentioned, and she can go soft. She can go either way. So
Madison Farr leaves the court, and they bring their libero Annie Fitzgerald in. Alicia Irvis serving for Sandy Creek, leading 2-1. Little dump over the net. Oh, they kept that. Nope, they didn't keep it in play. The whistle blew.
It's a double hit, basically. It was a kind of a double hit based upon the ball being touched by the same person twice when they were trying to keep it alive.
Down the line, or across court and over the line. Point Sandy Creek again.
Yes, and getting a little scary if you're Donna Fleming and Columbus already here.
Madison Fleming, freshman. And here comes Tori Sellers back out onto the floor with an ice pack around her knee and on crutches.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bode well for her return to the game. But again, we're talking about young athletes, and anything can happen.
Yes, and we just hope she's okay for later. It's the most important thing.
Big high set for Columbus, Natalie Twyford. This one's going out. They all knew it.
A little bit too much adrenaline behind that shot. Nice idea to go deep and go, you know, kind of Sydney Wilson to put the ball back in the deep corner. Just got a bit too much underneath that one.
Columbus serving, number 2, Chandler Barr. Oh, whistle, whistle, whistle.
And there's another out of rotation call against Columbus. And again, I go back to the fact that this is a different lineup for the Patriots, and so they are trying to make sure they are in the right spot on the floor at all times, because you're automatically called for being out of rotation. That automatically hands your opponent a point. So Allie Davenport, kind of the leader on the floor, is trying to make sure her team stays in rotation.
So this loss of Tori Sellers has been most costly in a couple of free points for Columbus. They earn one this time and go up 5-4, their first lead of game 2. Aside from the opening 1-0.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got it. No, you got it.
Well, Allie Davenport really needed help on that play and should have called it, and Paul Collins is calling a timeout to try and get his team settled down for good reason. So
they're trailing for real for the first time in this game. If somebody has to score the first point, you can't call that a trend.
Yeah, I agree.
But this time now they're down by 2, and on a miscommunication error, he's trying to get them straightened out over there.
Yeah, and because the lineup is a little bit different.
They're all adjusting.
Yes, you've got to get them back in the right rotation, in the right spot on the floor at all times.
They're missing one of their key players, Tori Sellers.
So good timeout by Paul Collins, trying to get the troops settled down just a little bit.
Chandler Barr serving, and that'll count as a service winner, if not an ace.
Not an ace, but close enough.
Yeah, a couple of players touched it on the Sandy Creek side. They're up by 3. So the timeout by Coach Collins has worked in the favor of the opposing team, but then they end their own little run with a serve into the net by Chandler Barr. She'll go to the sideline and be replaced by number 6, Kiana Duncan. Davenport to serve, straight to Duncan.
That one never came.
Nope. Into the net, into the top of the net, right into the Mizuno banner that borders the top of the net.
Trying to use Allie Davenport out of the back row was just not a bad idea at all for Sandy Creek, but she didn't get enough underneath that ball to put it over the net.
Libero Michaela Swinson serving for Columbus, up 8-5.
She got it all that time.
Yeah, great dig.
Great dig and good job by Columbus keeping it alive.
And that one never came either.
Apparently it did.
Oh, it did?
Yes, it did.
Oh, it sure looked like it went into the net.
I wasn't sure from the angle that we had.
Yep.
Brian, I couldn't tell.
But the call goes to Sandy Creek. They bring back another point, trailing by 2 now. Keeping this one alive. Looking for an empty spot in the Columbus defense, but they're there.
Nice block that time.
Yep.
Columbus leading the way on the block, and that's Brianna Goggins on the block for the Blue Devils.
So the Blue Devils earn the serve back. And it's Lee Ellen McCormick, number 4, with the ball. Nice serve.
And still not passing very well at all is Sandy Creek.
And that'll count not as an ace, but a service winner. She put it out of the reach. Even though they touched it 3 times, they weren't able to get it over the net. Very awkward hits.
And Columbus really in control here in set number 2.
Boy, you aren't kidding. 10-6 after losing game 1. They've come back with a vengeance. Skims one over the net. And now Columbus takes their turn sort of poking at the ball.
Well, Madison Farr went over on 2 that time, number 2 for Sandy Creek, but not a bad idea at all because Columbus was kind of out of their defensive rotation, so not a bad idea by her to go ahead and get the ball back for her team.
Sandy Creek's libero Annie Fitzgerald serving. And a big hit off the touch by Alicia Irvis. It's going to be point Columbus. They're up 11-7.
And the difference in this set from last set is that thus far, Sandy Creek has been able to string together nothing in terms of consecutive points, and Columbus has really been in command of this set.
Their server will be number 12, Kennedy Smith. Into the net. It has to be disappointing to come into the game and on your first serve, give one up.
It's really tough, though. I always say this because people wonder. It's tough to come in off the bench and immediately hit a tough serve.
And it's difficult to get young players to understand that they don't have to serve the first one tough. Just get it in play.
Right.
Columbus hits one a little too long, gets the point and the ball back to Sandy Creek, puts them within 2. Long. Free ball back to Columbus.
Yes.
They're up by 3 again. It'll be number 8, Brianna Goggins. And that one drools over the net.
Wow.
Stays in play. Big hit. Probably would have been long, but they played it on the Sandy Creek side anyway. Here comes a nice hit. That one is going long. They stayed away from it. Oh, we got a touch. Got a touch.
Thought there was a touch there. And the referee said he saw it because once again, Sandy Creek questioning the call, but the referee is saying, I saw it. At any point in time, the head referee says he saw something. Doesn't need a lines person to confirm it.
He's got better eyes than I do.
He's on top of the net.
There's a definite touch.
Miscommunication once again, and this...
I saw that one.
Yeah, this second set is really, really turning Columbus's way.
No question about it. We're still a long way from the 25 points needed to win this game. But Columbus is a lot closer than Sandy Creek right now.
Yes.
The Blue Devil, you couldn't tell from looking at his face, but he looked pretty happy, but he seems pretty happy. Big hit by Davenport, and it goes.
Well, her team needed that swing to kind of get them back, A, serving, and B, out of that particular rotation.
So now their fate is in their own hands, so to speak, as they will indeed be able to serve. Alexis Broadwater, an ace.
Very tough serve. That was down at the feet of Columbus.
Well, they get a big hit from Davenport and an ace serve from Alexis Broadwater, the freshman setter. She drops another one in the same spot. They're ready for it this time. Up and down goes number 2, Chandler Barr. Back to serve for Columbus will be number 9, Madison Fleming. 15, serving 11. Little touch by Davenport, and it worked.
That was such a smart hit because she knew she had a big block in front of her, and she could have hit it right into the block. Instead, she went to the side of the block just with a little touch to the left and found open floor. That's a very smart play.
Oh, tough serve by Sandy Creek's Alicia Ervis, too. They handle it somehow on the Columbus side. Big hit, block, kept in play. Here comes the left side, Davenport.
Wow. That ball went down in a hurry.
And it was about 2 inches thick when it hit the floor.
It went down in a hurry, and it was an awful lot behind it, and now it's time for Columbus to talk about it.
Yep, Donna Fleming wants to try to stem the tide here, which is definitely rolling in favor of Sandy Creek. They were down by, 6 at one point? Now they're down by 2.
Yes, definitely some, and it could be that Sandy Creek is kind of getting used to this, I won't say new, but different lineup.
Their different lineup.
Yes. Without Tori Sellers, and Columbus recognizing that, they have to do a better job on controlling the ball on first contact.
Allie Davenport having a word with Tamara Dorsey out there on the floor as the Columbus team is still in the huddle.
Very impressed with the number of people who up here from Columbus today for this match. It's great to see the fan support.
Sandy Creek much closer to the Marietta High School gym.
Yes.
Of a somewhat larger contingent, but the Blue Devils are making the
noise.
Their lack of numbers by making a lot of noise.
Absolutely. Good pass this time.
And a nice touch. Oh, they kept it in play, Sandy Creek. From the left side, right-handed hitter. The libero sets it back again. Michaela Swinson keeps it in play. Sandy Creek's libero, Annie Fitzgerald, does the same. That ball had eyes.
Well, sometimes those balls drop in like that. I don't see it very often in a state championship, but that was just a very well-placed ball over the net and what we would call a side-out winner.
Alicia Erva is serving. They're within 1 point of what seemed like an insurmountable Columbus lead just a few moments ago.
Yes.
They had everything going their way, the Blue Devils. Well, the call goes
against
Columbus
Sandy
way,
Creek.
against Sandy Creek. They're incredulous over there on the side of the net.
And not happy with that. That was called blocking over. But not a lot of complaints from Paul Collins there, but I'm sure he's given the second referee a look saying, you sure but that was that? But it's called by the first referee who's right on top of the action.
Into the net by Columbus. They give it right back.
Yes.
They cannot capitalize, at least right away. And Davenport will go back to serve.
And she is pretty deadly behind the service line, too.
Oh, look at that. There's an example. They kept it in play. Great dig by the number 6 for Columbus, Kiana Duncan.
Wow.
Oh, man. What do you do with that? Protect yourself.
Sydney Wilson, again, I've said it before, but that's the second ball in this set that has gone down not just hard, but in a hurry.
Allie Davenport, another one, drops right at the feet of Kiana Duncan. She plays it.
Dug up by Davenport.
Yeah, good up by Davenport indeed. She gets another big hit straight at Duncan. And the second player can't handle it.
And Davenport hitting that out of the back row with an awful lot of authority as well.
Brittany Griner for Columbus just couldn't quite handle the up by Duncan. Little running dump from the left side. Here comes Davenport. Faked the big hit. Took something off of it. Never came. Into the net by the same number 11, Brittany Griner, and now it's Columbus timeout.
And that was probably a smart move, because all of a sudden we're back to kind of where we were in set number 1, with Sandy Creek starting just creeping away with it, just coming back and coming back and coming back, and then all of a sudden, boom, you look up and you're down 4 or 5 points and down to a team that's already beaten you a couple times this year.
Well, Sandy Creek was down by 5 or 6. I don't remember exactly. Yes. And now they have come back to outscore Columbus by a significant margin to take a 2-point lead. And we're that much closer to that all-important 20th point and the even more important 25th.
Yes, absolutely. But give a lot of credit to Sandy Creek for just finding a way to fight through their change in lineup and figure out who's where on the court. And they've done this despite having a couple of out-of-rotation calls go against them. They've still been able to still get back to an 18-16 advantage.
Yeah, they threw away a couple of points with the out-of-rotation calls.
Yes.
They probably, reluctantly handed over a few more with just being, out of sync a little bit, missing their player Tori Sellers. Oh, look at that. Ace serve by Davenport. Just handcuffed Natalie Twyford.
And that ball's moving a lot.
Yep, she attacked Duncan again, the new player in the Columbus lineup, Kiana Duncan. Oh, big hit.
Big hit off the block and down and back over. And so all of a sudden you look up and it's 20-16.
Yep.
And guess who's still serving?
Yep. Got that knuckleball serve that just floats over the net, going every which way.
Now, Alexis Broadwater made a nice play at that one, but it had a little bit too much on it for her to bring up with a single hand. But a nice serving run by Davenport, some good work at the net, and some good defensive work by Sandy Creek has put them in a position to really take over set number 2.
Michaela Swinson serving for Columbus, trailing by 3. And it finds the open floor. It wasn't pretty, but it'll count just like the other ones.
Nothing fancy from Madison Farr. That ball just went down on the floor because she said, well, I know I can't hit this one hard because it'll come right back in my face. And instead, number 2 just said, I'm just going to drop it down in the right spot.
Back to serve for Sandy Creek. And immediately into the net, Tamara Dorsey. So 21-18, still trailing by 3, but inching ever closer to that 25th and deciding point. Columbus, Leellen McCormick serving. A tough one. They keep it in play. Here comes a play from the left side. Long.
And no touch that time, so now Sandy Creek up 4 with 3 to go.
Yep, we're well within the zone, as Phil Bush calls it.
Awfully hard to come back now.
Here goes Natalie Twyford. She's going to and into the net. She was long on the one before, short on this one. And now we're at 23-18. Down by 5, 2 to play for Sandy Creek. That time, Twyford found the range. But Sandy Creek sent it back to her. Twyford up into the block.
Nicely done. Got it past the block that time. That was a very well struck ball. So Twyford had a few swings, didn't go her way, but she, to her credit, kept swinging. You hate to see hitters stop swinging.
Well, 23-19 doesn't look quite as bad as 24-18 would have.
You're right.
Kennedy Smith serving for Columbus.
Not passed well by Sandy Creek.
And blocked very well. Solo.
Brianna Goggins that time. Young lady who looks like she may be going to Auburn to play volleyball. And if you're going to an SEC school, that means that you are a pretty special athlete.
Well, she's only a junior, so Coach Donna Fleming has another year to groom an outstanding player for the Auburn Tigers.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Great effort.
Great effort. Columbus kept playing a ball that was out of bounds until it went into the stands. And now we're at game point, Sandy Creek. Back to serve, Madison Farr, number 2.
Tough serve, but handled pretty well that time by the Blue Devils.
Oh, desperation now for Columbus. They needed to get that ball over the net. They did. Here comes Davenport. Wow. And how appropriate is it that their big hitter, we got a call. We thought that was the game winner. Instead, it's point Columbus.
I apologize. I missed it, Brian. I don't know what was called.
Well, the referee blew the whistle, made some sort of gesture that I didn't see or understand completely, and it's point Columbus. We're at 21 serving 24. Goggins floats one over, gets one to drop. 24-22, they're still alive.
Nice job that time.
Well, some disappointment on the rebound, and Coach Paul Collins calls timeout again.
Well, it's probably a good timeout because his team, I think they thought that second set was over.
Yep.
And he has to remind them, says, well, it may have been over. We may have thought it was over, but the rest of nobody else here thinks it's over, so you've got to finish it up.
Yep, you still need 1 point. The bad news is it's not over. The good news is it's 1 point from being over, and that's all you need. Davenport now hustling up to her front row teammates.
Just talking to him, but I would be surprised if this ball, under any circumstances, does not go to Davenport. And she's one of those kind of hitters that we've talked about during the course of these matches, that everyone in the gym knows where it's going and no one can do a darn thing about it.
Well, Columbus is going to see if they can make it tough to get it to her. And it is. Brianna Goggins with the ball.
Not passed well.
Not to Davenport either.
It's a free ball back, too.
Down that one goes. Columbus is drawn within 1 point. Sandy Creek still needs 1 to win.
Otherwise, we're going to be into extra time.
Yep, free volleyball, as Phil Bush is fond of calling it.
Gotta love free volleyball.
Free volleyball. No money down, easy payments. 100% discount volleyball.
Not passed well again.
Davenport sends it back. Now they've got to give a free one over to Columbus.
And outside.
Big set for their left side hitter. Sandy Creek plays it. Here comes Davenport.
Kept alive.
Still alive.
Wow. What great defensive work by the Blue Devils.
Now set for Davenport again. She's successful this time. And they win game 2 by a score of 25-23. It looked like it was over, and now it is.
Well, it was a very, very tight end to game number 2 after a much more convincing set 1 victory by Sandy Creek, by the Patriots. And so it'll be interesting to see coming out of the locker room. Now, on the one hand, if you're the Patriots, you feel pretty good that you won that set. You overcame the loss of one of your key players, Tori Sellers, who's now on the bench. And everybody else there seems to be feeling pretty good. If you're Columbus, you got to feel bad you didn't win that second set because you were right there.
Yep, there's the match summary. 25-17 in game number 1 for the Sandy Creek Patriots. A blowout by comparison to the 25-23 seesaw match that could have gone either way. Sandy Creek had to come from behind to win game 2. That's where we are right now. We're going to take a break, come back with the third game. It might be the deciding one for the 4A class championship here at Marietta High School.
We're good.
Set to begin game 3. It could be a decider if the Sandy Creek Patriots play up to their standard of having won the first 2. If they repeat their effort, they'll be the state 4A champions for the Georgia High School Association Volleyball, and some of their very vocal fans are here. On the other hand, Columbus has dug themselves a pretty deep hole, or had it dug for them. To come back down 2-0 in a state championship final is difficult at best.
At best, it is difficult. It can be done, but it is very, very hard. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out. That 10-minute gap between sets 2 and 3 is very interesting, and how coaches use it and how teams use it.
Well, the San Francisco Giants won the World Series when they were down big in the league championship.
They did, indeed.
They came back to win over Detroit and go to the World Series, to use an analogy. So it can be done.
It can be done, but
it's
difficult.
Hard. Our linesmen are in place. Our referees are in place. And Brianna Gogans has the ball for Columbus. She'll put it in play.
Tough serve.
Yeah, made it tough for Sandy Creek's libero Annie Fitzgerald.
That ball just a little bit outside. Davenport went down the line, which is a smart hit, but she just didn't quite get it on the line, inside the line.
Well, it might take them a point or two to get back in their rhythm. Sometimes these breaks have a way of working against you.
It's true.
Especially when you've found your rhythm late in the game 2, as they did, Sandy Creek. They're adjusting from missing one of their key players, Tori Sellers, out of their lineup. She was injured in game 1. She's on the sideline, supporting her team, but not able to contribute on the court. Another nice long rally here. Columbus brings one across to Davenport, who sets it up. Then she knocks it down, but it's too long.
Just a little long. Good rally, though, and good keeping. Again, both sides doing a good job keeping the ball alive. But and that one, just a little bit too much from Davenport. Nice idea on the swing, but once again, just a little heavy.
Well, Columbus up 2-0. They've forced Sandy Creek to come from behind on more than a few occasions so far in this match. Long. No touch. No, it's long. Sandy Creek, point and serve. Alexis Broadwater, freshman setter, will do the
freshman
honors.
Setter, when she goes to the back like this is when, well, never mind. I was going to say that there was a good blocking rotation.
She got all of that one. A little too much.
Yes.
It sailed nearly into the stands at the end of the court. So a free ball, free point, I should say, back to Columbus. Columbus finding a way to lead this one early. Another long ball. They're looking for the touch.
And not getting called.
Not going to get it. So Columbus is going to go up 4-1.
Yeah, and again, the ball did change direction a little bit, so there could have been a touch there, Brian, but, we're not on the court calling it.
Well, the air conditioning is on. It was a gust of air. Davenport with a nice soft touch. Gets one to drop.
All those big swings she's taken sets up those kind of nice just going off the hands kind of shots.
Alicia Irvis for Sandy Creek. Senior right side hitter, serving. Davenport.
Wow.
That's the big hit that sets up the soft touch that she earned a point with before. This time it's off the Columbus player and into the bench.
Well, when Allie Davenport gets set in the right spot, it's pretty much good night.
A service winner by Irvis. Not an ace exactly, because two players on the Columbus side touched it.
But it's close enough.
Yep, it scores. They're tied at 4. Here comes Sandy Creek back from behind again. Quick set, doesn't work. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Now, Sydney Wilson, I thought, had a pretty good shot at that at the middle blocker position for Sandy Creek, but the Chardonnay Hayes just found a way to get the ball past that block.
And there's another one by the number 16, Tamara Dorsey, from the left side. Davenport to serve.
And Davenport just set in that particular rotation. So it's kind of an odd offense that Sandy Creek runs, but a lot of it has to do with making sure that Allie Davenport is defensively and offensively involved in an awful lot of plays.
Too big. And wide goes the number 16 Dorsey this time from the right side. Big swing. And the number 7, Sydney Wilson, got that one. Tied at 6.
Yeah, nice set. Well done by Alexis Broadwater. And that setter is only a freshman, I might add. And she has got a very bright future ahead of her, I would say.
Well, Coach Paul Collins has got to be grinning like a possum over those prospects. He's got a setter to build a team around for the next 3 seasons.
Certainly he'll miss Allie Davenport, Tori Sellers, and players like that, but he's got plenty of young players stockpiled.
Columbus leading 7-6 and serving. Straight to Allie Davenport. And they get a little misplay once again. Sydney Wilson not able to handle it or get the help she needed at the net.
Yeah, the timing on that particular set was not on. It's a slight attack behind the setter, and it needed to be a little bit higher and maybe a little bit further off the net in order for Sydney Wilson to take a really decent swing at the ball.
Lee Ellen McCormick serving for Columbus, up by 2. We've seen this movie before. Columbus
back row
leading.
Attack.
Yep.
Yes, we have, and it usually ends with that kind of a swing from Allie Davenport.
So Columbus leading in the early and middle portions of the game, and somehow Sandy Creek finds a way to come back late. We haven't seen it start yet. They're still trailing by 1. That one's going across the net and out of bounds. So Sandy Creek will send their libero, Annie Fitzgerald, back to serve, while the front row players discuss their most recent success. That was nice. Goggins found empty floor.
Well, Goggins that time once again, the book on most middles is they're going to go across their body left to right. Well, or excuse me, right to left. Well, that time she went left to right, Goggins did, and found some open floor in the left deep corner.
Too big, and it goes wide.
Yes,
Point Columbus. They're up by 2 again. Serving is Kennedy Smith.
The question is, can Columbus now build on this lead, or will Sandy Creek rally back again?
Davenport with the first hit. She gets the third one as well.
Now just keeping the ball alive this time.
There's the big hit. Davenport digs it up. Oh, a little confusion. They dink it over and keep it in play. Broadwater with a nice left-handed swing. She keeps it in play as well. Here comes another big hit that Davenport handles. They're going to the left side, looking for the call, and they get it.
They got it, and it was down apparently.
Just inside the stick.
I couldn't see it from where our broadcast position was, Brian, but it was a nicely placed shot.
Yep. First of all, it cleared the stick at the top of the net, right, and it hit the line when it hit the floor.
And that was Madison Farr, who's now back serving.
Yep. Oh, tough serve that Kennedy Smith couldn't handle. And we're tied at 10.
Remind you again, Madison Farr entered this match first up on the basis because of the injury to Tori Sellers. So she's done a nice job coming in for her injured teammate.
Oh, quick set for Brianna Goggins, and she takes advantage.
Well, Goggins has got a very fast arm, and she gets up in the air very well. So put those two things together, you're going to get a lot of what I call highlight center type hits.
She's very tall to begin with, so
yes,
she's already a long way up. Now she's serving. Floats one to Davenport, her counterpart on the other side. Sandy Creek goes over quick. That time it was Columbus Chardonnay Hayes.
Yes, Hayes just
at the net.
Went past Alexis Broadwater, the setter for Sandy Creek, putting that ball on the Sandy Creek side.
Brianna Goggins serving up by 2. for Davenport.
Never
Can't
came.
get that one.
I think Davenport was expecting it to be a little further out, and Paul Collins sees his team being a little bit disorganized on the floor and takes a timeout.
I think that's a good word. A little disorganized, and indeed, the Sandy Creek coach Paul Collins calls a timeout. He's got him. Why not use him?
Yeah.
And that seemed like a good time to do so.
Yeah, because there's 3 straight points, all under different circumstances against the Patriots, and so I'm sure he said, look, let's get back to what we're good at here and remember where we're supposed to be on the court and talk about where we're going to go.
Columbus up by 3, equal to, if not greater than, their biggest lead of this game.
Yes.
And we're just past halfway to 25. Sandy Creek, who called the timeout, break their huddle first. And they're waiting on the court for Columbus to join them. Brianna Goggins serving. Jump serve to Allie Davenport.
Still not passed well enough to run offense off of.
Nope, they just had to get it over the net. But
however,
it drops. It drops on the rebound, and Broadwater will come back to serve after Davenport got one to fall.
Well, and that was a nice block by Allie Davenport. Just did a good job going up and redirecting the ball.
Broadwater with that left-handed serve. Comes across and lands. Yes?
Yes. I thought it might be long, but it was right on the line.
Right
the line's
on
person
the line,
right there, and no argument from the Sandy Creek bench.
So up by 3, Columbus serving once again. Up goes Davenport. They block her. They're up by 4. That is their biggest lead of this game, and perhaps of the match.
It may be, and it's a big lead.
15 serving 11. Sandy Creek's going to perform their usual comeback routine. It better start soon, if not now. And it does.
On cue.
Yep. Well, they get a point. That's 1 point in the right direction, but it is by no means a big rally yet.
No, but it's interesting how every kill, block, or other play seems to have Davenport involved in it, either on the block, on the dig, or on the attack.
Alicia Urvez can't serve a winner. Columbus sends it back and takes the ball and the point with them. They're up by 4 again.
Well, that time missing the libero, because in that particular rotation, the libero was out because of the other player who needed to serve for her.
No, mishandled by Broadwater. And they're up by 5.
That's a big lead, especially when you're up 17 and looking down at somebody who's got 12.
This is a long uphill road for the Sandy Creek Patriots now. It'll be a measure of, if they go on to win this title, it'll be or this game, I should say, it'll be a measure of their determination.
Now up 6.
Up by 6. Columbus seems to be even more determined to force a 4th game.
Only 7 to go.
Up by 6 with 7 to go, getting close to the danger zone. Davenport with a little dump. It's gonna land on the line.
Wow.
That's my call. And the linesman agrees. Good eyes, sir. Now that one landed on the line. There's a chorus of boos coming from the Sandy Creek fans, but it was on the blue line. We had a dead eye look at that one.
Free ball back.
Yeah, up by 7.
Well, that was a break for Sandy Creek.
Yeah. Now they're only up by 6, Columbus.
Yeah, still a long way to go.
Allie Davenport will serve. The senior hitter. She goes to the libero, Michaela Swinson. She has to dig up another one. And it drops over the outstretched hand of Sydney Wilson.
Little miscommunication again between setter and hitter in that situation.
And once again, Columbus is up by 7 with Michaela Swinson, the libero, the senior libero defensive specialist, serving. Up goes Sydney Wilson to atone for her previous error, or her contribution to it anyway.
Now, can Sandy Creek serve some tough balls to recreate what they've had earlier in this set and the first two games?
Boy, 5 to play for Columbus, and Sandy Creek trails by 6. That one's going long, and it'll hand a 7-point lead once again to the Columbus Blue Devils with 4 to play for the game. Timeout once again. Paul Collins is going to run out of timeouts.
Yeah, he's done with this one, but I think it's almost at this point in the set where you know you're probably not going to win this set, but your team has to regain its, I won't say this in a negative way, but his swagger, because his team has really looked confident in the first 2 sets, and they seem to have lost a little bit of that in this third one.
Well, Columbus has shown them that they can lose Sandy Creek.
Yes.
That Columbus has shown Sandy Creek that they can be beaten.
Absolutely.
And it seems as though a little bit of complacency maybe coming in. They weren't prohibitive favorites, but they had beaten the Columbus team 3 times during the regular season. So they may have felt like this could have been a little bit of a walkover. Surprise.
Yeah.
They don't hand out the trophies until you actually earn them.
That's exactly right.
And there's only one trophy for the winner. No participation certificates
Not
in
here.
the Georgia High School Championship.
Not here.
Back to serve for Columbus, Lee Ellen McCormick. Taking her time.
So even now, if Sandy Creek doesn't win this set, it'll be interested to see if they really look like they've regained their focus. Well,
they get a gift.
They got a gift there in terms of a missed serve from Columbus.
Yep, first point off the timeout is a gift. As Lee Ellen McCormick served it into the net. Sandy Creek's libero Annie Fitzgerald to serve. Oh, and she handcuffs the first player who can't get it done. Again, that's right at the chest. At chest level, you don't know whether to put your arm, drop your arms down, put your arms up, drop to your knees, butt it with your head. You're just indecision is what results from that kind of a shot.
It's a hard decision to make, and however,
Columbus wins the play at the net that time. Brianna Goggins.
Goggins won that play by doing a nice job there on defense, just knocking that ball back onto the Sandy Creek side.
Up by 6. They need 3 to win, Columbus and the Blue Devils. To Davenport. There's the big swing, and it lands. Now they need 2 to force a 4th game.
Chandler Barre that time with a big swing for Columbus. And once again, a ball not handled well. And double hit called.
They're going to call that a double hit, and for good reason. It was slow leaving the hands of the setter, or the second player, to touch the ball. And now we're at game point for Columbus and the Blue Devils. There's Brianna Goggins at the net, enjoying the moment, but it's not over yet. To Allie Davenport. The set, and that one's going to fall. And Columbus wins game 3 to force a 4th game against the favored Sandy Creek Patriots. And you know that they're going to really have to think this one over. Sandy Creek let that one get away, but even more so, Columbus took it from them.
I think that's very well said, Brian. Columbus really did take it from them that time. Serve receive was better, their serving was better, and they continued to play that lights-out defense that Columbus played the entire match. And really, I think, caught Sandy Creek by surprise that they were so ready to win. And I think maybe Sandy Creek thought, well, we've beaten these guys multiple times this year. We've beaten them 2 straight games here. We got it won. Well, Columbus had other things to say about that.
Yeah, not so fast.
Not so fast, as the saying goes. Not so fast, my friend. So
we get set for game number 4. With the Patriots up now 2 games to 1. They had been up 2 games to none.
And I think it's going to come down, and I know this sounds like a bad cliche, and I'm sorry for those of you who are volleyball fans out there who are watching. it still comes down to serve and serve receive, and the serve receive for Columbus in that particular set was simply not good enough to win.
Well, it may come down very simply, as it often does, to who wants it more.
Well, I should have said the serve receive for Sandy Creek in that third set was simply not good enough.
Well, that's the technical side of it, but it's all about desire.
At
this level, there's so much emotion involved.
Yeah.
And if you come in with the idea that you can walk through this and win, well, it's not going to go so well for you.
No.
You have to rekindle that fire. You have to relight the flame that earned you the wins in the past and earned you the first 2 wins in this match. So for Sandy Creek, that's job number 1. Yes, play technically better, but somehow find the will to win.
Well, it's going to be interesting here to see from an attitude perspective. I think Columbus, I would have to believe, comes out feeling very good about their chances now.
Well, they're a lot more lighthearted about their approach to this 4th game. They're coming out onto the court high-fiving and hollering. And over there on the Sandy Creek side, there's a lot of sort of frowny faces discussing,
Yeah.
There's a little discussion going on, whereas over here it's a little more pure emotion on the Blue Devils side of the net. They're trying to get their groove on over there on the Sandy Creek side, but it seems to be a little more serious. And indeed, it is. They're not going to walk over these Blue Devils like they thought they may have.
But from this point forward, I think it'll be interesting because I can tell you, in Paul Collins' mind, the last thing you want is this match to go to that 5th and deciding set. Because at that point, as we've seen earlier, all bets are off as to what happens.
Indeed. So let's see who wants it more. Do the Columbus Blue Devils want to take this championship away from Sandy Creek and in one swell foop make up for 3 regular season losses?
Well, they certainly can do it, because this is the one that matters.
Sandy Creek earning state championships twice in the past in different divisions. They moved up to 4A in the restructured GHSA format. They were champions in 06, I want to say, and again last year.
I think you're right.
Yep. Close to it anyway. So Sandy Creek serves up the first one, and they lose it. Chardonnay Hayes.
As I said, a very confident bunch of Blue Devils coming off the bench. And how will they handle the serve and serve receive assignment?
Chandler Barr serving for Columbus. And they're going to get the call. And a free point 2.
And so
double hit for Sandy Creek.
If you want to watch this match for the rest of the time in simplest form, watch serve and serve receive.
Another great serve by Barr. They got to go over in a hurry.
Free ball.
Yep. And it works for Sandy Creek.
I don't know how that worked.
It wasn't pretty, but it worked.
It wasn't pretty, but you're right. The ball ended up on the floor on the Columbus side, although I have no idea how that worked.
It was a gust of gravity. Davenport, she's blocked but out of bounds.
And I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more balls going to the senior hitter.
But they need to
They
need to set them better to give her all of the opportunities to use those weapons in her arsenal. That one would have been long, but they played it anyway. It would have been wide, I should say.
Yes.
Big hit.
Nice up.
Keep it in play. Sacrifice the body. Kiana Duncan. There's Davenport. They blocked her again. Here she comes again. This one's softer.
Wow, what a rally.
Davenport a third time. It's the charm. Off the touch by Kiana Duncan.
What a rally, though, on both sides. But, again, that was the first time I've seen since Game 2 that you saw Sandy Creek really kind of have an attitude about their play. Not a bad attitude, but a really good attitude.
Well, you called it swagger earlier. They're trying to get some of that back. They're going to set up number 7, Sydney Wilson, and it goes off the touch.
Nicely done.
Up 4-2 now, Sandy Creek, and they have to be saying that's more like it. Alicia Ervez serving. This time it drops for Columbus.
Nice shot there. This is a smart side-out play that time. Nothing fancy.
Well, the damage done, though. They're up 4-3. They can work on a lead now.
Yes, exactly.
Brianna Goggins comes back in the game. Their libero, Michaela Swinson, will serve. Blocked. Columbus ties it at 4.
And Brianna Goggins again leading that block.
Swinson back to serve for the second time in her rotation. Puts it in play. Davenport with a soft touch. They dig it up. And again. Davenport. They dig it up again. Number 9, Madison Fleming. Another big rally. Davenport with a soft touch. They handle that too. Well, they're sending everything she brings them right back the other way.
Smart hit.
Yep.
Just a very smart hit that time by Sydney Wilson. Just off the high hands. She knew she couldn't swing super hard. If she did, she'd probably get it shoved back in her face, but she found the high hands.
Davenport long on her serve.
And meanwhile,
5-all. They got a 1-point lead and gave it away.
Yes.
Back to serve for Columbus, Lee Ellen McCormick, number 4. She's a senior, defensive specialist. Floats one in nicely. Davenport with a big hit from backcourt.
Yes.
And the soft touch by number 9, Madison Fleming, breaks the deadlock. We're at 6-5.
Well, nicely done that time by the setter. We haven't called her name all that much, but nicely done that time for sure. Just doing a nice job dropping the ball in the right spot.
Well, she's tall enough to be a hitter. Bang. Dug. On the floor it goes for Sandy Creek. We're tied at 6.
Well, Sandy Creek has had a lot of nerve checks going on here in this 4th set. Back and forth we've gone.
I'm not sure they fully adjusted to the loss of Fleming yet.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
Long. Davenport's trying to win it alone, and she can't do it with hits like that.
Well, the problem is that hitters always have to be reminded each hit you get down on the floor is only worth 1 point. There's no such thing as the 5-point hit. And when you get a little frustrated, you try to get it all back in one swing. That's the kind of thing that happens.
Columbus is leading, putting Sandy Creek in a come-from-behind position again, even though it's only 1 point. That time, Davenport found the range, got a little help from the net, and it fell where no one could reach it.
Took a little off the attack that time and put it in. The worst case that was going to happen, it was going to go into the deep corners and be hard for Columbus to play.
Oh, that one looked like it may have been wide too, but played by Columbus anyway, and they get another one to drop.
Alexis Broadwater, the setter, with a dump over on one. I haven't seen either setter use that very much, and that's something that you do occasionally just to keep the defense honest. A
quick 2-point turnaround, and Sandy Creek is up by 1. Bang, down goes Brianna Goggins on the quick set.
Basically a back 2 right behind the setter. Haven't seen Columbus do that much of that, but they passed it well enough where they could run that offensive option that time.
Tied at 8. Big hit blocked. Columbus goes up by a point.
And the Blue Devils are in this for the long haul. they're thinking about Game 5. I'm not saying they're looking ahead, but they know they can win this if they get to that 5th game.
Sandy Creek's job is to keep that from happening. And they bring one back to tie it at 9.
Davenport that time, a little bit of a frustration swing, but it had its effect.
Off the elbow of the Columbus player. Sandy Creek's Madison Farr to serve. She's the player that came in substitution for Tori Sellers, injured in Game 1. Davenport again. This one's going long. Off the touch by number 12, Columbus Kennedy Smith. We got to play that one.
Almost came right into our laps.
Ten serving 9. Sandy Creek with the lead. They've turned it around again.
Not passed well that time and not set well by Columbus, and that's probably a really smart timeout by Donna Fleming to slow down the momentum that she saw Sandy Creek beginning to get back.
Well, twice Sandy Creek came from a point down to go a point up. Now they're 2 points up.
Right.
And yes, I agree, a well-timed timeout.
Well, her team beginning to get a little sloppy on serve receive, and like I said, I know it's one of the most basic things you can say about volleyball, but serve and serve receive are still the things you look at first and foremost. And right now, the serve receive for Columbus, I think that was probably the root of that timeout, was saying, look, first thing we've got to do is make sure we're in control of our own point. Pass the ball first, and then everything else falls into place. Meanwhile, Paul Collins probably just saying, keep playing with the kind of emotion you're playing with and focus on not making the unforced errors that really hurt us in Game 3.
I'm a big fan of reading body language, and Sandy Creek seems to have regained a little bit of what you called swagger, confidence. They're playing with a little more of what they came here with just in the last few minutes. Davenport blocked.
Blocked on, however, ended up over on.
Yep, it came over on the Columbus side, so it's good for a point. But Chardonnay Hayes celebrating a big block there, even though it fell to her feet. Madison Farr serving. Long. Now things are starting to fall Sandy Creek's way. They're up by 4. Their biggest lead by far in this game.
Columbus still not passing balls we can run offense out of.
It's probably their biggest lead since Game 1.
I think it is. And
now it's 5.
Columbus really hurting for a good pass right now where they can run offense.
Madison Farr serving some real knuckleballs.
Yes, she is. Very, very well done.
Watching that thing float. That one's too long, though. She got a little overconfident maybe and hit that one too hard.
Maybe so, but it's still a good run by Madison Farr in that situation.
Well, it's put them up by 4 and given them some breathing room to work with. Columbus will put.
And now the focus
Madison Fleming.
For Sandy Creek will be the same thing, which is let's handle the first contact. Not handled well at all that time.
Davenport wide. Nobody there even close to touching it. Columbus comes back to within 3.
Still not passed well to run offense out of.
Double hit.
So now it's the passing has kind of collapsed on the Sandy Creek side temporarily.
And Columbus is down by only 2. With a service run by number 9, Madison Fleming. Free ball for Columbus. They set it quick and get the touch on the Sandy Creek side for yet another point. They're within 1. Bang! But somehow they touched it over. Bang again. This one's not going to be caught.
Wow.
Yeah. They're up by 2, Sandy Creek, 15-13.
And if I'm Columbus and I give Allie Davenport 2 swings, you got a feeling one of them's going to go down.
give her 3, and it's one too many.
Yes.
Bang! Down comes number 5, Sandy Creek's Alicia Irvis, the other big hitter. And another timeout by Columbus. They're seeing this one slipping away. They want to stop it.
And again, nothing real fancy you can say as a coach in this situation, because your team has done the work to get here, won the key matches to get to this point in the championship. It's all about doing the little things at this point in time, and serve and serve receive, and particularly serve receive right now, are the things that are holding Columbus from making this into a 5-set match. There's a lot to be said for emotion, but the emotion is useless without fundamentals, and they have to go back to their fundamentals with emotion. Yes.
In order to pull this out.
No question.
You and I could go out there with all the determination in the world, and we'd still lose.
We would still lose, yes.
At least I would.
No, I'd be right there with you, Brian. I would not be pretty. That was both timeouts that Donna Fleming has used now, so she's out of timeouts on her side.
So now it's up to the players on the court. Left-handed serve coming from Madison Farr. Big hit by Columbus, and it works.
Well passed, well set, well struck.
They're within 2 again.
That
Back
was up.
to serve, Chandler Barr.
Chandler Barr that time with a nice put away.
See if she can capitalize with a serve. She puts it in play. Davenport with a soft touch. Set up by that big block, and she went up for the block, got the ball to drop at the feet of number 1 Chardonnay Hayes. And once again, now Sandy Creek is up by 3. Again, no more timeouts for Columbus coach Donna Fleming. It's all up to the players on the floor. And as long as the Sandy Creek Patriots are leading, Paul Collins isn't going to call timeout. He's going to let it ride. Nice set. Second set. Drops into the corner.
Nice shot.
Yes, indeed. Great shot selection by Chardonnay Hayes.
Very well done by number 1 for Columbus, dropping the ball in.
She got a good view of the whole court from up there.
Yes, she did.
And she was up there. Brianna Goggins back in the game, number 8. Serving is Michaela Swinson, the libero.
Well passed.
Good up. Swinson puts it over to her counterpart on the other side. They're going to send that one long and wide. 2 straight points for Columbus, and they're back within 1.
Here they come again. Now that timeout that we talked about that Paul Collins won't call, he may call here pretty soon.
Yeah, he's got one left, and he may have to use it. We'll see. The players on the floor can keep that from happening. Block.
They get a blocked, touch, but out. No
blocked
touch.
And out. We're tied at 17. I guess I was looking for the touch that wasn't there. Swinson with another nice serve. Davenport dumps it over the net. Has it dumped right back at her. Down for Columbus. They're up by 1. So the Sandy Creek Patriots came from behind in the first 2 games to win. Is Columbus coming from behind to win game 4? A little early to tell, but it is early. 18-17 right now.
Is in the realm of possibility right now.
At the end of the second game, who thought we might go 5? Nobody. Except the Columbus players.
That's a great shot by number 11, Natalie Twyford. And there's that timeout that Paul Collins absolutely had to call.
Yeah, he's down by 2 with 6 to play for Columbus. He was up 2 games to none and finds himself now in a possible game 5.
Well, that's the last place he would want to be. So it's going to be interesting to see now. Again, the amount of coaching you can do at this point in time is just not very much. But he may be talking to his team about, look, we know what got us here. In this particular rotation, first of all, Columbus will be trying to get out of it, I got a feeling, will be their first priority by getting a side out and the ball back. Secondly, who's going to attack? Where should the ball go on the attack here with a good pass?
Allie Davenport doing her best to rally her teammates over on the Sandy Creek side. Michaela Swinson serves a nice floater.
Good pass.
Davenport goes over in 2. Up goes the number 10, Natalie Twyford.
Once again, the right side attacker fires the ball down the line and beautifully struck.
Boy, Columbus up by 3 with 5 to play for the game. Swinson, another nice float serve into the middle of the defense. Davenport. Oh, that's going to be 4 hits. That was Sydney Wilson rather, that set that one up.
Actually, it was called a double, but I thought it was 4 hits. But
okay.
In any event, the ball goes back to Sandy Creek.
And they are down by 2. Serving is Davenport again. Quick set, and it's out.
Just missed.
Just missed. Good idea. Didn't quite make it.
No, that left to right, that inside-out swing is very effective usually as a middle blocker. That one just was a bit too much on it.
Sandy Creek now trailing by a single point. They have come back, and that one's wide too. Now they're tied at 20. We got a brand new 5-point game and potentially a 5-point championship if Sandy Creek can pull this one together for the last few moments here.
Ball passed way too close to the net, and a 3-point pretty much for Sandy Creek. Donna Fleming has no timeout left. The only way she can change anything now is to do a substitution, but I'm not saying she should. I'm just saying she's kind of run out of options.
And how quickly the wheels could come off the wagon when in rally scoring, but over the top of Allie Davenport, Columbus gets one back. We're tied at 21.
Game to 4 now.
Sandy Creek waiting for the serve from Lee Ellen McCormick, senior defensive specialist. Pressure's on for good, tough serve. She gets a little help from the net, but it goes wide.
Oh, wow. So last thing you want to do in that situation is to put a free point back in Sandy Creek's hands.
Yep, up by 1 with 3 to play. To their left side attack. At the net.
Wow.
Brianna Goggins wins that one.
With authority. That ball did not come over, I might add.
Not to be denied. Brianna Goggins goes up.
Very nicely struck. And notice she turned around to make sure she wasn't viewed as yelling at her opposition, but she was very fired up about that play.
It's a 3-point game for either team. Down goes Davenport off the touch by Goggins. Taking a little wind out of number 8 Sales after she was celebrating a great play. She got handled a little bit that time.
Well, that's what Davenport as a senior is going to do to a lot of people.
Well, libero Annie Fitzgerald serving for Sandy Creek. Up by 2. Oh, that's going to go back to tied at 23 all.
Now it's a game to 2.
That was multiple fumbles.
It's
on the Sandy Creek
amazing
side.
we're even saying that, but it's really just the nature of this sport and these two teams knowing each other so well. Well passed.
Davenport, double hit. Yes.
And guess where we are.
Yep, double hit by Chardonnay Hayes. That was all she could do, was punch at it a second time. And we are at match point with Sandy Creek's Madison Farr serving.
Well struck.
And it drops. Tied at 24.
And I believe
it's still a 2-point game.
I believe we've seen this movie before, Brian.
We've seen this movie multiple times so far today in multiple matches for multiple state championships.
Absolutely. It's been great.
We finally had one go to 30 points.
And it could easily happen again.
Yeah, you have to win by 2, even though game is to 25. It won't be good enough in this case. Long.
Nice no touch by Madison Farr in the back row. Number 2 for Sandy Creek just made a great decision not to play a ball in the back row.
Her second thought was the correct one. Her first thought was to reach for it.
Yes. Match point.
Sandy Creek's Alexis Broadwater serving. Comes the big hit.
Dug up by Davenport.
And Davenport gets a set, but she sends it long. We're tied at 25.
She tried to do too much. She made a great job of digging the first ball. All she needed to do was put that one in deep and just tried to make that perfect shot.
The whole Columbus team was at the net. She had lots of room in the backcourt. She sent it too far. We're tied at 25.
Oh.
No, we're not.
Alexis Broadwater, the freshman setter, with a nice spot.
We're going to match point again. In comes Columbus number 6, Kiana Duncan. Chances are she'll be the target from where she is on the court. She plays it.
That's
they can't follow it up. There's your game. There's your match for Sandy Creek. It took them 4 games to beat the team they beat 3 times in the regular season, but in the end, they get it done.
Well, a very well-played match by Columbus, and they could have easily been in a 5-setter.
Another one that could have gone either way, and that has been the theme, the absolute theme of our entire day here in the Georgia High School Association Network Championships. Another one goes to 2 points after a commanding win by Columbus in Game 3, answering a commanding win by Sandy Creek in Game 1. This one goes to a 2-pointer and almost ended with a whimper in a way. But what a great job for Sandy Creek. They had to dig deep and find what it took, what brought them here, what got them to this dance. They had to recapture that magic in order to beat a very determined Columbus Blue Devil squad.
And then having to overcome losing one of your prime hitters in that second game. Check that in the first game really had to kind of retool your offense completely, and that's not easy to do when you've been practicing since July and it's November. That is not a simple thing to do.
Nope, to sustain, to come in expecting that key player to be in position and then to lose her so early, it definitely took them out of their game for a while, but they managed to adjust under Coach Paul Collins and in the end make it happen to be. Sandy Creek will be, for the 3rd time in the Georgia High School Association Championships, state champion for the first time in 4A.
Well, extremely well-played match, and so many of those games could have easily gone.
Now the tough job for the Columbus Blue Devils is to go and somehow accept the runner-up trophy instead of that of champion. They send their senior captains to receive the trophy. Michaela Swinson, Lee Ellen McCormick, and Chandler Barr.
Well, I know it's not what they came here for, but they have every reason to be very, very proud on that ride home to Columbus tonight, because they played a heck of a good match and a couple of points either way, and we could still be in that 5th set right now.
Yes, indeed. And for some of the juniors and the underclassmen players who did not go over to receive that trophy, they can start dreaming about doing just exactly that, going over and taking the trophy that's going to be handed to the Sandy Creek seniors.
Well, if you've got Brianna Goggins as one of your prime offensive weapons, you've got a lot to look forward to if you're Columbus.
Coach Donna Fleming can be very proud of her players.
Absolutely.
But here they come, and there is Tori Sellers, and she's got to make sure that her teammates understand that they picked up the slack for her, that she was injured and not able to contribute, but somehow they pulled it all together and did it without her.
Well,
Tori Sellers, Brooke Ingram, Allie Davenport, Alicia Irvis, the seniors accepting that trophy for the Sandy Creek Patriots, and there it is. State champions in Class 4A, their 3rd championship, their 1st in the new division.
Well, very well done, and been a great day of volleyball here. Only one of these 4 matches going in 3 sets. Everything else, and it shows you why you're in a state championship match when you've got to go at least 4 sets to get it.
And even that 3-set match was a prize winner, and we have had a wonderful day here at the Marietta High School gym. And I think with that, it's time to say so long until Monday evening when our 5 and 6A championships will be decided. We look forward to the Class 5A championship, Whitewater versus McIntosh at 5:30 p.m. and followed by at 7:30 the Class 6A championship, 2 very familiar teams, Walton and Harrison. So that is going to be our marquee matchup on Monday afternoon. Until then, For Phil Bush, I'm Brian Drever. We thank you all for joining us here on the GHSA Network. So long, everybody. We'll see you in 2 days.